Yeah, what's up, guys? What's poppin', y'all? This is your favorite boy, Pablo Castro PR. You're now tuned in to the Madhouse Adult Entertainment Podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. And if this is your first time watching a video on this podcast, please subscribe right now, like, and please share. I have friends who have already done that, and I want you to do that also, man. So you watching right now, you're my friend, and I love you, man. I don't know where you are, I don't know where you're watching from, but if you drop comments down below and tell me where you are watching this video from right now, I will send love to you from Nigeria to you, man. I love you guys so much. God bless you. Let's go. So guys, this is a new episode of Chat with Pablo Castro, and my guest on this episode is Jay. She's a fine girl. She's a podcaster. You know, we had to do this like twice because the first video had, you know, some floppy side like color and lighting, you know, but we did it again, man, and God, it was lit, man. So I can't wait to share that video part with you guys. But before we get to that one, my music picks for this week will be featured in my extended segment, which is exclusive to my members only, you know. So, and you can become that kind of member from at least $1 to support this podcast and sustain us, you know, and you get rewards for that for sure, man. And you can do this from at least $1 monthly. Just check the links in the description right now to learn more and, you know, follow from there and enjoy yourself, man. I serve out my behind the scenes on those platforms, and I serve out exclusives on those platforms, man. So go check it out, guys. I'll be featuring 3 music this week once again for you, and I did that the previous week. So I want you to go stream those songs I feature and, you know, enjoy. So before you can be able to stream those songs, you need to access that part. So you need to become a member and check the links in the description right now. Check it right now as you're watching, guys. So let's go one time, man. Woo! Yeah, guys. So as I said, on this episode, I'm talking to Jay, and our topic is how to create a podcast in Nigeria, guys. Podcast is a new thing, and this is what I've been doing for 3 years, and it's so lit, man. I'll not lie. Like, I have friends across the world watching right now and listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as you guys are watching right now on YouTube, you know. So it's all off from Nigeria to anywhere in the world, man. So it would be nice if you guys stick with me and my friend Jay to the end to learn about podcasts and how you can create it, how you can sustain it, how you can manage it, how you can monetize it, because you need money, man. So that is what I'm trying to do through donations and, you know, selling out membership for you guys right now, man. So let me don't give you guys all the TT, you know. I want you to stay with me, you know, follow up, become a member, check out the music picks for this week. And if you are not ready for that yet, just, you know, wait for the part where my interview starts with Jay, also known as Justina, who I said is a podcaster, and you guys get to enjoy, man. So stay tuned, entertain yourself, don't go anywhere. One time, God loves you. Hold on. Yeah, what's up, guys? What's up, everybody? This is Gideon Nwani once again on the show. This is your favorite boy, Pablo Castro PR, and you are here on the Madhouse Adult Entertainment Podcast. And I have Jay with me in the building, Justina. What's up, girl? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm fine. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Shout out to you, man. We love you, man. We love you. So please go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them what you do. Call out your social media handles for them to follow you. And let's take it from there. One time.
Okay, so my name is Justina, and I'm the host of the Storytime with Jay podcast. This is a podcast that looks at life in Lagos from the different dimensions. Introvert looking at an extroverted city like Lagos. My social media handle is at STWJAE podcast. You should follow me. If you're not following me, I'm wondering why. And that handle cuts across Twitter, Instagram, and all my other socials as well.
Thank you very much, man. We love you so much. So, guys, we have Jay in the building today. Before we go to our topic for today, I want her to play a game with me, a game of, you know, delete 2, and, you know, I want her to pick 1 from 3 and delete 2, and we'll do that now. And I know she's ready. She's ready, right? You ready, right?
Let's up here, but yeah. I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready.
Oh yeah, now let's go. So now I want you to delete from this: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Delete 2 and keep 1.
I'll delete Apple Podcast and Google Podcast to Team Spotify over here.
In this episode, in this episode, our topic is how to create a podcast in Nigeria. And I know you guys are here to have a good time with us and hear the information we have to share with you guys. But before you do that, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. If it's your first time, watching or following this podcast, I would really appreciate that. This podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all podcast platforms. And as you're listening right now, thank you so much, and God bless you. So now, Jay, let's talk. What are podcasts to you? What are podcasts right now for you?
I feel like a podcast, and that's such an interesting question because I feel like a lot of you don't know what a podcast is, in as much as it's gaining traction in Nigeria. A podcast is an audio format, like of either something entertaining, something educative, informative that you can actually download and save for later. That's like the simple way to explain. That's the simple way to explain what it means. Audio formats that you can download later to listen at any time that you wish.
Thank you so much. So that's what it is, guys. Podcasts are that way, and they are mostly in audio formats. Before this year or last year or last 2 years that people started to do it on YouTube, it has always been audio. So it first started on iPod, that's Apple, and then it started going on and on to different platforms, and now we have it in almost every major platform worldwide. So, and podcasting have been on since about 2005, but I didn't start or know about it until 2020. I don't know about Jay, but Jay, when did you find out about podcasts? When?
So I've been listening to podcasts for the longest time because I'm a huge fan of wrestling. So I used to listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts where they talk about wrestling and they bring on wrestlers. So way before the pandemic era, I knew that there was something called podcast, right? So before the pandemic era, I can't pinpoint the particular year, but I know that I've been listening to podcasts before 2020.
Awesome. You mentioned something very interesting just now. You're a wrestling fan. Do you have a favorite wrestler?
Yes. I have a favorite wrestler. That's been a question that nobody should be asking because I will talk about it all day long. But I respect the fact that this is limited. I like Seth Rollins. I'm a huge Seth Rollins fan. So Big shout out to Seth Rollins. I love you.
Okay. So now, guys, podcasts, there are platforms where you can host podcasts and you can listen to them on. And some you can only host and not listen to. And most of them, you can host and at the same time listen to them on there. Like Anchor right now, that is where I host and, share out my podcast. But I don't listen to podcasts on Anchor. I listen to podcasts on Spotify. Though they have a streaming service, but I always like to listen on other platforms. So how about you now? Tell us, on what platforms can people create a podcast and listen on?
Wow. There's so many platforms that you can use to host your podcast. And by hosting, that means that's where your RSS feed is generated from, where that's the one you use to distribute to other platforms that are not accessible on the particular platform that you are, right? So there is Podbean. I know a lot of people use Podbean. There's so many types. Most of us in Nigeria, we are Anchor babies.
I swear,
that's what we use.
Anchor is so easy. Shout out to Anchor, man. I swear.
Shout out to
Anchor is so.
Come and give us gift back in Lagos or in Nigeria, freebies.
No.
Because we are your influencers here.
Yes, now Anchor, please, they should just bring that monetization and every other feature from the US to Nigeria, because we use it the most here, man. Yes, now in other countries you have people use Buzzsprout. There's Buzzsprout.
There's Red Cycle.
Yes.
Or Circle.
Yes, there's Jamit. In Africa, there's Jamit. There's Afripod. Now I use Afripod. I have my website listed on Afripod, and it is a very good platform too that you can create your podcast on, or post your podcast on. It's a good moment. So guys, check out these places. We mentioned Anchor, we mentioned Buzzsprout, we mentioned Podbean, we mentioned Red Circle, we mentioned Jamit, and we just mentioned Afripod. So go check out all these, and you can host your podcast on all these ones. Moving on. So now let's talk about the first steps to take before creating and starting a podcast. There are steps that need to be taken before this is done. Every creator have their own process. Like for me now, I took a process and a step before I started this. I had to plan what my episodes would be about, what the topics would be about, the kind of people that will be on the show, if it's going to be solo commentary or interview based like what I'm doing right now. But I'm doing a mix of everything right now. But when I first started, it was solo. So tell me now, for you as a creator, what are the steps to take before creating and starting a podcast, my dear?
So let me say one thing. This Pablo Castro guy, you people hold his neck. This guy is onto something because he does literally everything. But that's not why we're here today. At least partially, that's why we're here today.
Voila. Go ahead.
You know, we do this thing.
No,
you know that I know that.
100. You know, easy. Go ahead.
Okay, so I feel like as a creator, the first thing is don't rush into it. Take your time. I mean, if you plan on being here for a long time, I don't feel like you should rush into starting because I mean, you have a whole life ahead of you in that sense, creative journey to like bring out the things that you already have on your inside. So the first thing I'll say is take your time, do your research, find out what kind of podcast do you want. And I'm streamlining it to podcasting. If you want to have a podcast, you need to look at what niche am I going into? What do I want to talk about? Is it going to just be me? Am I going to have a co-host? Because having a co-host is a different ball game. You people need to align your time, you need to align your focus, your vision. They need to align. So it goes beyond just having a co-host. So there's so many things because I think like a lot of people just have a co-host and next thing they release one episode together and that's it because they don't align in terms of like production and so many other things. So I feel like do your research. Find a topic that you love. Don't talk about something that you see your friend or your mentor talking about and you feel like, oh, because I look up to this person, I can do this too. Stop. And the last thing I'm going to say is don't compare yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of joy. Like if you compare yourself, like you have a podcast, you just started yesterday and you're comparing yourself to like Pablo Castro. They're just looking for headache because he has been on this journey like for the past 2 years. You are just starting or you just started yesterday and you think you're going to get the same traction or the same love. I mean, immediately. It's not possible. So I feel like we should just set realistic goals as content creators starting out. Even those of us that have been in it for a while, just have realistic goals and don't kill yourself. It's a process.
Hit him real hard with it. Hit him real hard with it. Hit him. Bump him.
Thank you so much, man. Hold on, Jay, Justina she's killing me right now, man. Hold on, I'm having fun doing this with her, man. So guys, let's talk about this one now. The ways to sustain and monetize the podcast. There are ways you can sustain this podcast and, there's another way you can also monetize it and, make a little bit of income from it. Because podcasting is actually free, but podcasters tend to monetize and sustain their podcast through various ways like merch selling merchandise, doing affiliate marketing or advertising for people on social media or on the podcast. And there are some other ones that we'll be talking about. But let's ask Jay now to give us a tip, and then I'll also give mine too. I have some tips to share with you guys on this subtopic. So Jay, how do you sustain and monetize your podcast? Tell us.
Do you have been sustaining and monetizing this podcast? That's a monetize. Do you have been sustaining this podcast is by God's grace?
I swear.
Really? Because I have not been like able to monetize it in that sense. I know that a lot of people do merch, a lot of podcasters go into voiceover, they do a lot of things. So everything that I've done so far to sustain this podcast is just by God's grace. That's where I'm just going to leave the answer. Because it's not by anything I've done by my strength or anything that I know how to do. So yeah, it's basically just it.
Awesome. But normally you could don't hear of some other ways now. We're discussing about Flock one time like that. One app that just.
Oh, okay. You asked me my own personal like.
Yes, yeah,
for others, I want to. Sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah, go ahead. I wanted you to finish what you wanted to say.
Okay,
but you can suggest platforms for people. That you know.
Oh, okay. That what you asked me though? Was that what you asked me though?
No. I asked you your own. I asked you yourself. We're going to get to this one. It's one step at a time. We'll go reach there. Normal level.
Tell me something. Okay, I'm just joking. So the way that as a creator, because this is not just for podcasters now, as a creator, because even you that you're a podcaster, you know that you do other things, right? So I'll just put everything together. As a creator, there's so many other platforms that are springing up every day. We have Flock, that he said, F-L-O-K, sorry,
Yes.
F-L-O-K.
Yeah.
Try Flock. You can put your content on there and you can make money from it. People like buy you coffee, and all this kind of stuff. People that appreciate you. There's also Feedia. I use that one presently. I have an account with them. So if you want to send me something, you can tell me. I will let you know. But yeah, there's Feedia as well. Those are the two platforms that I know right now that are in Nigerian market, and they want to help content creators to be able to make money of their craft. So those two I know of. So yeah.
Thank you. Well, my own side right now, I'm not lie, because I define money actually. Sakwa don't want to show me shaggy. I swear to God. So,
What be this? What be this?
so, as in, I had to go online and do so many research, on how to monetize, and I got to know about newsletter subscription, by people. Your fans can pay money to be subscribed to your newsletter, whereby you do it on Substack, or you sell membership on Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon, from at least $1, and when you're offering this membership, you have to give people offers, things that are like rewards for them giving you money, because nobody will just want to put their account online or put their card on the website and it gets debited on the first of every new month without getting anything in return. So as they are listening to your episodes, you can monetize in the sense that you create extended segments or bonus for your fans to catch it on maybe Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon from at least maybe $1 or $3. You just set the package that that best fits every level, because there can be different levels. Like me, I have a basic and a medium and a higher level for members, and that way I can monetize my podcast. Then another thing is Anchor helps you do monetization. It's mostly for those in the US, not even Nigeria right now. But there was this tweet, they said they are going to test other waters soon, and they'll try out countries that that are not on the list, and they'll still get there. That we should just chill. Anchor can really help with sponsored adverts, whereby before the show starts, it plays a recorded audio of you telling people about Anchor, and then you get a little bit of token and blah 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 from there. And they charge, not that they charge, they pay per thousand mile. Yes, and I think it's about $15 that is the package. So when it's $15, it can even go more than that one, and it keeps going. And then there's another one. There's this one I found out about. I'm trying to remember right now. That skipped my head, But when I remember, I'll add it to the links in the description. So these are the ways you can use to monetize your podcast, and you can sell a merch. Like this one I'm wearing right now is available on my store, and the one J too. I'm sure she's also selling the one she's wearing right now. I don't know, but
but keep your eyes locked soon.
Yes, you understand. So those kind of things help you, sustain and monetize the podcast. So if you are thinking of starting a podcast right now in Nigeria, this is me telling you can start this thing. You can host it on Anchor, you can host it on Buzzsprout. You can then monetize it and sustain it and keep it going. Influencers and celebrities are starting this thing already right now in Nigeria, and it's getting big, and people are knowing about it. Yeah, people are knowing about it everywhere right now, and I know them, they have the resources on everything, and they might not even be thinking about monetizing, but you can be thinking about monetizing because you spend your money for equipment and all. And you should also consider some things like your audio quality before you start your podcast. Sorry, I skipped that part in the place where I said the steps that are supposed to be taken, man. You should make sure your audio quality is good, at least a good sound recorder, or a good microphone like this one, or some other equipment that you can get, they can help you sustain. So we had fun on this one today. Oh my god, man, this is so, I'm not lie, you guys don't know how I'm feeling right now. Before this recording, we had our little bit of delay, but we are doing this right now, and it's fun, man. And you guys are watching. And you guys are watching right now, man. So before we close this show, I have to tell Jay to call out a shout out right now before we end the show. So please, Jay, go ahead, give your shout outs and your thanks, and call out your social media once again for them to follow you and tell them what you do, so they can buy your market.
Who am I shouting? Who am I shouting out to?
You start shout for joy. You can shout to God. You can shout to Jesus.
I want to greet my friends, our family. I want to make a request. I have no idea what I'm
You don't know. They might be watching this. You don't know, right? So just you can just say hey, shout out to my mom, shout out to my dad, shout out to all my podcast listeners.
Okay.
Let's go.
I just want to say, yeah, joke. I just want to say a big shout out to my friends. Big shout out to my daddy. Funny enough, he's your namesake. So
Wow.
Daddy G.
Woo,
I'll see you.
Shout out to Daddy G. Daddy G, we love you. We love you, Daddy G.
Shout out to my friend, Oprite. She's the lady behind my podcasting dreams becoming like a reality. So I always like mention her name. So a big shout out to her, to Tammy, all my friends. I love you guys so much. And big shout out to Free Tribe. Woo! Yeah. And my social media handle.
You said
social media handle.
Okay, your social media, you now call it. Call it. Go ahead. I wanted to tackle you first.
So my
When you finish
social
calling your
media-
social media, I will tackle you. You go ahead. Oh yeah, finish.
How do you want to tackle me though? Anyways, my social media handle is, and I say is because it cuts across all of them at STWJAE podcast. So find me on Instagram, on Twitter. I am there. On TikTok, I'm everywhere. Find me, follow me, check it out.
Thank you so much, Jace. So now I said I have to tackle you. I told you to give
Why?
a shout out. I cannot even remember me and my podcast to give us shout out. Abi, you go collect. You go collect.
Is it not the banner that you put at the back like this? What am I shouting out again? Is it not what I can say?
Well done.
Where to go? No problem.
Well done. While I know this. So guys, we've been hanging out with Pablo Castro PR and Justina, also known as Jay, on this episode, and I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for streaming. We love you guys, man. Please remember to follow this podcast on all social media platforms. Use the handle at TMAE Podcast and join the conversation on social media. Use the hashtag TMAE Podcast on Twitter, Instagram. You can follow me. This is your fine host right here, Gideon Nwani, a.k.a Pablo Castro PR. Follow me on Instagram at Pablo Castrogram, and I'm also on Twitter at _Pablo Castro PR. I love you guys out there, man. Check the links in the description. We said, come again. Hold on, said. You know the vibe, man. Yes, now. So, guys, check the links in the description for more. Watch the next video I'll be showing for you guys. See you in the next video, guys. God bless you. Stay safe. I love you guys, man. Hold on. Big love.